Right from the start, I'm just gonna come out and say I really like this game. I think it's fun and amazing. But what got me playing is purely the nostalgic vibe it was giving me. These feelings stem from Final Fantasy Tactics, a classic dating all the way back to the PlayStation 1. That being said, how enjoyable would this game actually be if you don't have those roots in the olden days? You know, I just staged myself a little bit by saying that. Anyway, I guess that's why you are watching, and hopefully continue to watch. I have to support my fry addiction somehow after all. So, without further
Hoopla! Sounds like a hoopla!
I will answer that question and more on this episode of Should I Play Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. Alright, so let's start with the potatoes of this game, which is the story. At its core, the story is actually really basic with some sprinkles of imagination on top. You are playing as Kyrie, an Arbiter. Think of them as the police of the world. They have ultimate power, and their word is basically law. Kind of like our police, you know? The only ones above you are the Council of Immortals, a band of 7 wizards who once sealed away a great demon who threatened the lands, kinda like the Beatles. However, only a few of the original Immortals are still on the council. They retire and die. So much for being immortal, right? Basically, every member of the council picks a champion to see who can take over as the new immortal. One thing leads to another, and boom, you are a candidate to become the next immortal. To become a new immortal, you have to go from temple to temple, and absorb an energy from a crystal therein, which probably isn't the safest course of action, but you know, who am I to judge? However, someone is actually going around absorbing all the energy from the crystals, which doesn't end up being too good at all for anyone. Those are the sprinkles. For the rest of the story, just think of it like any Fire Emblem game, or really close to Final Fantasy Tactics actually. It's filled with politics and just a run-of-the-mill story for a strategy game. You go from one place to another, have various dialogues, and it's just okay at best. But you know, you're playing the game for the story. I'm playing the game for that gameplay. But how does this tactical gameplay in Fell Seal actually measure up? Well, maps usually consist of 5 to 8 units that you can control or are controlled by an AI, usually like a ally party member or something. The goal of each map is usually wipe out the other team, but there is some variety available every now and then. There are some escape maps or slay the boss. For the most part, it's just wipe out the enemy squad, which are honestly my favorite types of maps because in the other two, you can just avoid most of the tactical gameplay and just shoot for the boss or the other objective. Another fun aspect of this game is that there is a class or job system for every character. It's basically a family tree. As you level up your classes, you unlock new, more specific, and more variety of classes who unlock more classes afterwards. The benefit of this is teaching. See, early classes are a simple way to introduce to combat, while the later ones are more unique. The abilities require you to understand other mechanics in the game. There's also a great mix of classes, everything that you would expect. The damage, the tanks, the healers, and then there's hybrid classes that just kinda fit everything together. In addition, you can mix skills and abilities from other classes, so there is an unlimited variety of little things that you could do for each character, so there's something for everyone out there, which I really appreciate from this game. To get these classes, you have to get XP, and to get the XP, you are rewarded that for damaging or defeating enemies. It's a lot like any tactical RPG grid-based combat where you have to march to an enemy to hit them. And after these missions, you are actually awarded CP or class points for each unit, which is great because it gives you a condensed amount of class points for everyone, but you also have an MVP which gains a percentage more CP, which is great because you don't have to like min-max your characters or have a specific character in a fight for them to get all the CP. And you use these class points in between missions to learn skills and actually level up your classes. Each point in the skill tree is a class level. What sucks about all this awesome is that you can royally destroy the game by mixing and matching skills from your classes. Like, just check out this garbage. But honestly, I might have said garbage there, but the game developers are doing the game justice. They are releasing patch notes and just balancing, so like, you can't just destroy the game. Blood magic is a huge problem when I played it originally, and now that they've changed the percentage of HP that every spell costs, the blood magic is less impactful. And overall, it's just a much better experience, and I'm so glad that the developers are following through with this game and making it a great experience. And while we're speaking about design from the developers, how is the map design? Because you will be looking at a lot of different locations with hazards, secrets, and enemies. And overall, the art is just nice. Nothing out of this world, and the maps are pretty much what you would expect from this type of game. Desert area, snow area, fire, city, you know, the basic stuff. Nothing of innovation from these levels. Something that does, however, need to be addressed is the characters are in 3D, but the maps are in 2D. So you can't actually rotate your camera, which really sucks for certain maps because the stock view that the map has just doesn't cut it, and you're constantly shuffling around your units, redoing movements because you just can't get to the right location. That's not the only challenge in this game. The difficulty in this game is great. That is one of the most innovative things about this game. You could basically edit at any time the challenge of the game. You can make it harder or easier, or just a variety of both. There are scales and levels on everything. Want to play on permadeath mode? Yeah, we got that. Do you hate yourself? Yep, you do. So you can play on permadeath mode and lose all your progress instantly. We have it so enemies can revive more or less, or use more or less healing. I have the revive one lowered because I just hate it when enemies revive. The maps last a decent amount of time already to be satisfying, and I don't need to be constantly like walking around trying to kill all the enemies as they revive. You can also edit your party members' equipment. There's a large selection throughout the game, which you could buy from major cities. But besides that, cities have like a unique art when you arrive at them, they all feel the same. None of them have unique shops or anything like that. There is an arena in one city, but that's about it. And while this is convenient, it makes the world seem less unique and just samey. Another great addition in Felseal is the world map. In most other tactical RPGs, as you travel around the world map, you have a chance to get random encounters. But in Felseal, the formula is a little different. You actually choose when you get random encounters by initiating a patrol on one of the green maps, or even some cities in this case. And this is a good thing because it helps you level up your characters when you want to, revisit old maps to acquire treasure or secrets, such as the obelisks. But at the same time, it has its drawbacks. The patrol encounters are great in that you could just do whatever you want whenever you want, and you never have to worry about when the last time you saved was in case you ran into a random encounter and you lost. But these random encounters have about 2 to 3 static groups of enemies, so they feel really samey. And while their equipment may be different, the enemies are still the same enemies that you've been fighting, so it takes back and draws back from the want to go back to old areas after you beat them. But a great thing about this is that all these patrols have like a level range. So they start at a minimum and they go to a maximum. So it's great if you just want to gain CP real fast and you could go to an old level and just kill enemies really quickly. So, should you play Felseal Arbiter's Mark? It is something that I've actually been wanting to play for a while. And before, the only way to scratch this itch was to actually boot up the old PS1 and play some Final Fantasy Tactics. But now that Arbiter's Mark is out, I don't have to do this. So yes, you should spend your time on this one. The slight flaws hardly stop you from enjoying the game to all of its glory. So pick it up, enjoy it, and you know what? Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Anyways guys, see you on the next episode of Should I Play?